Fortnite's first update of 2026 is here, and it's absolutely insane. If you thought last year was wild, you are not ready for what Epic has cooked up for this year. From the Phase 2 storyline finally kicking in, to the most requested collaboration in the history of gaming finally leaking in the files. First up, this Friday is the day everything changes. This isn't just a content update, this is the start of a whole new era. And speaking of a new era, we need to talk about the lore, because the story has gone absolutely nuclear. Trying to predict the endgame right now is pointless. I've actually got a whole separate video covering the lore for the entire chapter. The only thing I really want to talk about with you guys is how Kato Thorne's time machine basically wiped Chapter 4 from existence. That's the takeaway from the recap storyline video Epic dropped right after the 0 hour. It briefly runs through all the island events and chapters, but doesn't say a single word about the history of Chapter 4. It jumps straight to the Big Bang event. So we can basically yeet Chapter 4 out of the canon. It never happened because of the Big Bang and Kato Thorne's time shenanigans. Weird, right? But it's not that weird when you consider the information we took from the log of the Order, a member of the Seven who arrived on our island. In that audio, she says she visited Reality 783. Guess what that is? It's our old island on Inoshima. She went there to study the aftermath of the battle. I have no clue what she was studying since the whole island was rebuilt by the Shard. While she was poking around, she got a ping from Agent Jones. The Order decided to go find him, because they have a lot of tea to spill. In the second log, she confirms we aren't the only ones looking for shards, which duh, and she needs to find out who else is interested. I won't drag this out. The Who is the last reality, but she can't handle them without the Seven. Also, someone is hunting her. It's not clear if they're after her because of her genetics, or just because she's one of the Seven, one of the survivors. And who could be hunting them, you ask? Let's address the elephant in the room, the Dark Voyager. At the start of the season, he destroyed the battle bus, he commands his own personal shuttle, and even has Lynx from the OG Season 7 pass working for him. But we'll get to her in a second. We gotta mention the quests, where we tried to gain his trust. In exchange, he asked for info on the Shard and the Seven. Keep that in mind, he's interested in the Seven and the Zero Shard, which is super sus. Also, his line about working for the last reality for eons caught our attention. So, what is the Voyager doing on the island now? From day one until the last update, he was just exploring, getting closer every day. Then, the Dark Voyager hit his target and completely took over the Innerloop Labs and the Zero Shard along with it. But what's his plan for the Shard? Right now, the only thing he's doing is changing the loop and the storm. Have you guys seen the triangular storm in your matches? That is specifically the Dark Voyager's doing. That matches what the Order said about someone messing with the loop. His endgame is unknown, but we know our hero's plans. If you try connecting the dots and looking at Lethal Labs, then Classified Canyon, and that weird statue that reacts to everything, what if the remaining 2 shards are on the island? Maybe one is in the canyon, under someone's base, inside some weird sphere? The new graffiti hints at this too. Speaking of graffiti, remember how Hope used to see the future in her dreams and draw it? Now her dreams are blurry and confusing for her, but they're starting to make sense to us. We still have an open question about Lynx from OG and the strange Classified Canyon, which has some very interesting items. Lynx recently joined the last reality. You can tell from her loading screen showing the runes, and the Dark Voyager's loading screen where she's helping him with a 0-point shard. And that brings us to the most mysterious spot on the map, Classified Canyon. Not only are they studying the original Kevin the Cube there, but there's also an underground floor with green ooze and a last reality ship from Season 17. Where this is all going is still a mystery, but I'll be preparing a full lore breakdown for you to get what the endgame of this season is. Now, let's switch gears to the leaks, because the files are screaming right now. Overwatch and Fortnite is finally happening. I know, we say this every year, but this time we have hard evidence. In the latest patch, data miners found a specific file labeled for Hanzo. LEGO actually slipped up and used this hairpiece on a random Ninjago skin, but the file name didn't lie, it's Hanzo's signature mesh. This is the smoking gun we've been waiting for. But it gets deeper. Insiders are suggesting this won't just be a skin drop, we are looking at a full-blown gameplay collaboration. Rumors are pointing to a potential payload LTM coming to Fortnite, mimicking the classic Overwatch game mode. As for the skins, obviously Hanzo is confirmed by the files, but the bundle leaks are suggesting a Heroes of Overwatch pack, featuring Tracer, Genji, and Mercy. Think about the potential for mythics here. A Genji Dragonblade mythic that works like the Kinetic Blade, but with faster dashes? That would be absolutely broken in the best way possible. Or a Tracer recall item that warps you back to where you were 3 seconds ago to dodge a sniper shot? The gameplay possibilities are endless. This is easily going to be the biggest collab of 2026, likely dropping around February to line up with the new season hype. If you are an Overwatch fan, start saving your V-Bucks now, because this is going to be an instant cop. But wait, because the collab train doesn't stop there. We also have huge updates on the South Park leaks. This is real life. A South Park mini-pass is in the works. We haven't had a proper mini-pass since the TMNT event, but this one sounds insane. Because the South Park characters are tiny, Epic is solving the hitbox issue by putting the boys, Cartman, Stan, Kyle, and Kenny inside custom-built mechs. Think Morty's mech suit from Chapter 2, but deeper. The leaks claim that Kenny is going to be a wandering mythic boss on the island. And the best part? If you defeat him, he obviously dies in classic South Park fashion, dropping a mythic item. There's also chatter about a premium tier reward, being a specialized glider or a secondary style for the skins. Seeing the South Park squad hitting the gritty in a mech suit is going to be the funniest thing to ever happen to this game. And we can't forget about Lego Ninjago. Wave 1 was just the appetizer. Wave 2 is confirmed to be rolling out alongside these updates. We have seen leaked assets for Master Wu, and the design is incredible. It's super faithful to the show, but fits the Fortnite art style perfectly. If you are a main in the Lego mode, you are eating good this year. Now, I want to touch on a few other rumors that have been floating around for 2026. As the curtain begins to close on another massive year for the Fortnite metaverse, the rumor mill has officially spun into overdrive, and it is offering us a tantalizing glimpse at what Epic has in store for us in early 2026. While Winterfest has kept loopers busy with all the presents and festivities, we are looking at a potential lineup that does not just raise the hype for the current season, but sets the stage for upcoming ones in a major way. If the latest waves of credible insider leaks and data mined files are to be believed, we are staring down the barrel of the most significant run of pop culture dominance in the history of the game. We are not just talking about a few niche skins here and there, because we are talking about industry-shaking IP integrations that we have been begging for since the very beginning. From the high seas of anime's biggest juggernaut to the gritty streets of anti-superheroes, the roadmap for early 2026 is shaping up to be an absolute dream scenario for us. The crown jewel of these whispers, and undoubtedly the most anticipated collaboration in the entire history of Fortnite, is the long-awaited arrival of One Piece. For years, the Straw Hat rumors have floated around social media like a ghost ship constantly promised but never docking. But finally, multiple reliable insiders are now pointing to a definitive release window of early 2026, marking this as the headline event to kick off the new year. Unlike smaller anime crossovers, the One Piece integration is rumored to be a massive multi-wave event, similar to the Dragon Ball and Naruto rollouts. The first wave is expected to focus on the core heavy hitters of the crew, so we are talking about Monkey D. Luffy, Roronoa Zoro, Nami, and Sanji finally making their debut on the battle bus. The potential for gameplay here is staggering, so just imagine the chaos of a Gum Gum Pistol Mythic, or a three-sword style melee weapon that rivals the Infinity Blade in sheer spectacle. There is also chatter about a Battle Royale map update that could see the Thousand Sunny docked off the coast, which is not just a skin drop, it is a cultural event that anime fans have been waiting for. If the early 2026 timeline holds, it will likely be the biggest and first collab of the year, essentially breaking the internet the second the trailer drops. While One Piece brings the colorful adventure, the tone is set to shift drastically with the heavily rumored collaboration with the boys. This partnership has been teased on and off for nearly 2 years, but with the climactic finale of the Amazon Prime series looming, the timing for a Fortnite crossover has never been more perfect. This collaboration represents a grittier edge for the game, leaning into the T-rated boundary with characters like Homelander, Billy Butcher, and Starlight. Rumors suggest we could see a Temp V mythic item that grants temporary super strength or laser vision, balanced by a health draining mechanic to mimic the show's unstable powers. On a completely different note, but equally massive in terms of cultural footprint, is the leaked collaboration with the Wicked film franchise. With the second part of the movie adaptation dominating the box office conversation worldwide, a Fortnite crossover feels like a marketing inevitability, and insider reports indicate that this collaboration is currently in active development, likely timed to keep the momentum of the film alive into the new year. Rounding out this leaked roadmap is a massive win for gaming nostalgia, known as Crash Bandicoot. As part of the Gaming Legends series, which has already immortalized icons like Master Chief, Kratos, and Lara Croft, Crash is the missing piece of the 90s platformer puzzle. The leaks suggest that this collaboration has been on the table for a while, but was held back to align with a specific announcement from the franchise's holders. Seeing the orange marsupial in a battle royale as a skin might be surreal, but I think it will be as a sidekick just like the Groot or SpongeBob. We can expect a cel-shaded design that stays true to the Crash 4. It's about time aesthetic, complete with a chaotic spin attack emote that might even have some interaction with crates or loot. Having Crash Bandicoot running alongside you is the ultimate testament to Fortnite's status as the museum of gaming history. And it makes you wonder if Spyro is lurking in the files somewhere close behind him, considering how often those two franchises cross over. If early 2026 delivers on even half of these rumored collaborations, we are looking at a golden era for the game, because the diversity of this lineup spanning anime, TV, musical, and retro gaming ensures that there is something for literally everyone. Epic Games has mastered the art of the hype train, and by stacking One Piece, The Boys, Wicked, and Crash Bandicoot into the same promotional window, they are ensuring that player retention remains at an all-time high. It is rare to see such a concentrated burst of high-profile collaborations hitting one after another, but it seems like Epic is trying to make a statement that Fortnite is still the king of live service games. Whether you are excited for the anime aesthetics of the Grand Line or The Boys, the sheer variety of content coming our way is staggering. It effectively proves that no IP is off limits, and that Fortnite is the only place where these worlds can collide so seamlessly. Leakers are digging for more files every single day, so keep your eyes peeled for encrypted packs in the next update, because we might even see early texture files or sound effects slip through the cracks before the year ends. 2026 is not just another year for Fortnite, because it is shaping up to be the year where the game finally collects the last few Infinity Stones of pop culture. While Season 1 is still setting the stage, the people who live in the game files like they pay rent there are already staring past the horizon into summer 2026. And that's where the darkest, and honestly most hype theory, starts making the rounds. Fortnite isn't just flirting with symbiotes again, it's potentially lining up a full-on symbiote invasion. Not a Venom shows up for a weekend and leaves you emotionally unstable kind of cameo. More like, the island gets swallowed by black goo. Your favorite POI starts breathing, and everyone suddenly looks like they got possessed by a wet trash bag with attitude. The big swing here is a season inspired by Marvel's King in Black storyline, where the symbiotes aren't just random monsters, they're an army with a god behind them. That god is Null, the creator of the symbiotes, and Marvel is actively pushing him back into the spotlight, including a new Null first comic issue, and talk of a larger symbiote epic tied to 2026. So if Epic is looking for the next, how do we raise the stakes after everything we've already done? Null is the kind of villain you use when you want the skybox to feel like a funeral. Because here's the thing, Fortnite has already done Big Bad wants the island. Null doesn't want the island. Null wants the light switch for reality, which could be the 0 point once we rebuild it during the next seasons. The vibe isn't conquest, it's blackout. The theory goes that a season start could literally flip the world from bright Hollywood vibes into ashes, and suddenly you're playing Fortnite in what feels like the inside of a goth lava lamp. Map-wise, this is where it gets fun in a terrifying way. Chapter 7's early seasons are pushing that sunny West Coast, movie set flavor, but a symbiote season would be the hard cut. Palm trees 1 minute, living tar the next. Think a spreading infection mechanic like past map takeovers, except instead of clean sci-fi chrome, it's alive. It crawls, it reacts. It feels like the island got hugged by a nightmare and never recovered. Whole locations could get venomized. And if Epic really wants to cook, they'd bring back iconic Marvel-style spots in corrupted forms. Gameplay would basically turn into controlled chaos. Symbiotes in Fortnite usually mean two things: aggression and mobility. If the classic Venom or Carnage-style mythics return in an upgraded form, you already know every fight becomes a highlight reel. Add the idea of Gnull's Necrosword, especially if Epic gives it lifesteal-style healing. And yeah, the money angle is obvious too. Epic and Disney aren't just casually dating, they're in a committed relationship with matching rings. Disney investment in Epic tied to building a bigger Disney-connected universe, which basically translates to, we're going to see a lot more Marvel, and it's going to be loud. So a Venomized Everything Battle Pass practically prints V-Bucks. You'd have your major Marvel names, plus Fortnite originals getting corrupted variants that would absolutely destroy collectors' self-control. Lore-wise, it actually fits better than people think. Chapter 7 is already playing with reality hopping and cinematic worlds, and the cleanest way to introduce true horror is to have the heroes open the wrong door on purpose. Now let me add the part that has to happen if symbiotes really pull up. The Spider Squad needs to assemble, because who's supposed to stand up to symbiotes? We already have Spider-Man skins in Fortnite, including the No Way Home version, so the door is already wide open. And if Epic is going full blockbuster mode, this is exactly when you bring in the everybody screamed in the theater lineup. Right now, there's no official Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield Spider-Man skin in the game, but the rumors never stop, and those two are still among the most wanted collabs for people who grew up on Raimi memes and Garfield's energy. If symbiotes become the main event, adding more Spider-Men isn't just fan service, it's thematic. Somebody has to swing in and remind the island that black goo doesn't automatically win just because it looks cool. And the timing would be chef's kiss, because Marvel is already building toward its next massive crossover moment. Avengers. Doomsday is currently set for December 18th, 2026, which puts summer 2026 right in that pre-hype marketing hurricane zone. If Epic wanted a summer season that feels like a summer movie, King in Black energy plus Spider-Verse reinforcement, Marvel's wider buildup would be the most natural alignment in years. Like, it's so convenient it almost feels suspicious in a good way. So yeah, none of this is confirmed for now, and Epic could still decide to give us a chill beach season with surfboards and vibes, but if the leaks theory machine is even half right, summer 2026 wouldn't be just another Marvel season. It would be Fortnite going full IMAX. Because if Gnull shows up, the only thing scarier than the invasion might be realizing you didn't buy the battle pass.